All right, here we are. It is another fascinating edition of From the Margins with James Auffant. I'm David Washington, your host. This is James Auffant, attorney extraordinaire here in Central Florida. What else is there to say? Welcome,
Nothing
Jimmy.
more.
How are you?
How are you doing? And this great day, it's kind of sad that I'm going to have to start with ICE in Minnesota. I'm not sure. This is a mess that some people said, well, there were people in Minnesota who were defrauding the government. Well, yeah, but ICE doesn't handle that. So why did you send them over there? Oh, well, we have to deal with the people there uh, who are illegal. Minnesota is one of the most white states in the country, if not one of the top three. With all due respect, have they made many arrests? No. Children, yes. They have arrested people that are American citizens just to send them back home, yes. And they have killed two people there for local. And yeah, the local people are pissed off about that. I know that some of you idiots think that they should just stay home and say, okay, kill us. We're not going to do anything about it. But a lot of people don't feel that way. So protest is a right that we have under the Constitution. And this is what I've been meaning for months. It's not defund ICE, it's regulate and control ICE. Because basically this thing of breaking your windows, stealing your cell phones, stealing your guns, and selling them is something they do in the border every day. For those of you who basically thought that these were nice people in the border and they were treated everybody nicely, no, okay, they don't. You know, if they suspect you, they treat you, they'll throw you to the floor, and then, like they say in El Paso, they will beat the shit out of you and then ask questions. That has always been ICE. We know that, but because it's always been in the southern border of Texas where they beat up Hispanics, people don't really know about it. It's like basically for years, you know something that's very common. For years, the Chicago police abuses the African American community of Chicago. They do. Does the rest of the country really know that? No.
That's true.
But
That's very
now
true.
that you took ICE and sent it to Minneapolis, now you show the whole country who ICE really is. And if you had done the same thing with the Chicago police and sent it to Minnesota, they will find out who they really are. That is the problem here that a lot of people do not understand. They think this is something new. It is really not. What is new is that they've hired more people and they have not really trained them. What is new is that now what they've been doing in the border for many years, shooting and later asking questions, is something new. It's new that they in the border they shoot somebody and then plant the gun. That is not new. That's something that's been done. It's like in Chicago, I think 5 or 6 years ago, they arrested a kid who was running away. They killed a kid who was running away. And they put in their report that he had a gun and he was going towards him and that they had no other resource to shoot him in the back. That one, we all know. Then we saw the video and then everybody got angry. Look, if you saw the video of this last one, he had his phone in one hand and his hand up in the other. Was he carrying a weapon? Yes. And even the NRA, this is interesting. Even the NRA say, hey, you have a right to port arms even if you're going to a protest. Okay? You have a right to port arms even if you're talking to a cop. You have a right to port arms even if you're arguing with that cop. So basically, this argument, well, he had a gun, doesn't fly because he never pointed it at anybody, even though the Secretary of Homeland Security lied about it. And by the way, she's being called out by Fox News. And when you lose Fox News, Republican Party, you're fucked because Fox News is your biggest supporter. And they're criticizing you. They're putting you down. They're questioning you, why are you lying? And you're showing your true colors. So basically, you have a problem. I'm not advocating for defunding ICE. There are some guys there who are good. But to say
Sure.
you just let them go and not control them, no. Look, the boss that they had to be sent back to California because he couldn't control them. Two of them are in suspension. Look, I've been saying this for months. Trust your eyes, not what you hear. Trust your eyes. If you really think, if you really think that this young man posed an imminent threat to these officers, you're being partisan. I'm sorry, you're just being partisan. I understand that a
Jimmy,
lot of people want to support the law enforcement, but no, there's no way you can do this.
Jimmy, was this the straw that broke the camel's back that caused President Trump to speak with Governor Walz and say, hey, we need to come to some type of an agreement? What's your thoughts on that?
It was, and then for two reasons. One, when he starts seeing that the people in Fox News were attacking Patel of the FBI and were attacking everybody else, he realized that his allies were no longer his allies. But this is the second thing that has been focused in Fox News that bothers me. He also has realized that the two people who were killed were white Americans and not Hispanics and not blacks. And he realizes, because he's not a dumb person, that his voters are mostly white and they do not approve of ICE officers killing white people.
Good point, Jimmy.
I have one question. This is the question of the week for all of you. Do you think that Fox News, President Trump, would have responded the same way they are now responding if the two people shot was an Hispanic woman and a black man? If you think he would have responded the same way, we don't live in the same country. That's, I think, what broke the camel's back. You took a white nurse and you killed him. You killed a white woman and a mother. And the video was there that they were not in danger. 8 shots on somebody who's on the floor. Really?
Right.
You could justify that? A white man? You're killing white people. ICE was sent there to take out Hispanics. I'm sorry. You could call it whatever you want. The border that's always been in dispute in Fox News and in everybody else is not Canada, which is the largest border in the world. It is the south border, because they don't want Hispanics coming in, because who comes through the south border is Hispanics. Okay? White people come through the north. That's not an issue. You don't even have ICE enforcement in the north the way you have it in the south. Okay, so let's stop pretending that this is a different issue. It is an immigration of Hispanics. But again, my question is, if this was an Hispanic woman and a black man, would President Trump, the people of Fox News, and other people in the MAGA world, would they be responding this way? As a matter of fact, even Marjorie Taylor Greene is pissed off. And the way she put it is, yeah, you're killing white people, people. You're not taking out criminals or anything like that. These are people who have no records, who are mothers and nurses and stuff like that, and you're killing them. Lying down on the floor, you're shooting them 8 times.
Right.
Look, and I don't mean to be disrespectful. That is something that is common in the southern border of the United States. ICE does that. So, America, wake up. This is not ICE acting this way. Now, ICE has been acting this way for years. That's why for years there were people saying we need to do something about ICE. Oh, you're against law enforcement. To me, ICE is putting in danger law enforcement.
Okay. So, okay. I see that. However, Jimmy, ICE does serve a purpose, and those who are here illegally have been given options: you self-deport or be deported. Um, if there are reforms, and whether the government stays open or not hinges on whatever agreement, if there's going to be one, of any reforms in a funding package for ICE that's being debated right now. However, if reforms are in place and the conduct of ICE is appropriate, no killings, full transparency, that doesn't change the fact that they still have a job to do. And their job is to enforce immigration laws and go after illegal residents, whether they have a minor criminal record, a serious criminal record, or no criminal record. The fact is that 20 odd million illegal residents have to go.
Well, let's start by the beginning of that question.
Uh-huh.
Where in the fuck does 20 million come from? Because somebody pulled them out of their ass. Because if they're here illegally, how do you know how many there are? That's the first stupid question that I ask. Second,
Mm-hmm.
nobody's questioning that there's a need to deal with immigration. That's not the issue here. It's the method. Did you know that they get paid per arrest, a bonus?
Well, I'm not surprised. That does not surprise me at all.
Okay,
There's
that's why they arrest American citizens, because even if they are released, they get paid by that. Are they enforcing the law? No, they're just stopping everybody and asking them questions and arresting them.
right.
And this is what I'm trying to say. Police officers, there's a warrant for your arrest, and they go to arrest you. In the past, ICE was, hey, there's a deportation order for David Washington. They would take David Washington and they would go out. Now they're going out and looking to see if this person is here legally. Since when do we have to prove here in the United States that we're here legally? We don't. As a matter of fact, there's a thing against search and seizures without a proper court order. They're searching cars. They're searching everything. Just probable cause, they have none. They never have justified. That's why I keep saying it's not that we don't need enforcement, but we need fair enforcement. And we need equal enforcement. Do you know how many ICE agents there are on the Canadian border?
No, I don't.
Very few, less than 200.
Mm-hmm.
You have over 2,000 and close to 3,000 in the south border. Which border is larger? Canada.
Correct.
Okay. And that's why I keep saying it's like we keep thinking that only Hispanics are here illegally. We have people from China here illegally. We have people from Canada here illegally. We have people from Africa here illegally. And from the Caribbean. By the way, those of you who do not understand this, the people from the Caribbean could be African American, but they don't consider themselves African American. They consider themselves Caribbean. They come from Jamaica. They come from
Dominica.
They come from Barbados, from Bahamas. Those people do not consider themselves African. Okay, so just so you know, that is. But here is where the thing is. Do I need to surgery? Yes. Do I need somebody just stabbing me and pulling the thing out of me? No. We do it with a proper way. The problem is that ICE has never been trained like a good cop to say, "Good afternoon, sir. Do you know why I stopped you?" They don't talk that way. They just grab you, throw you to the floor, prove to me that you're an American. That's where, and that's what people are trying to see for the first time. They always thought of ICE in a different way. And that's why people for years have been saying, we need to control ICE. Look, right now, people are finding out that they lie. Are they going to say that all cops lie? Well, that might just flow over to other police departments. If this people do it, Why not the others? They manufacture issues that we know. Look, right now, one of the people deported in Minneapolis, his cell phone was taken from him.
Okay.
It was found in a pawn shop where the person who sold it gave his name, and he is an ICE agent. They do that all
Oh,
the time. Okay, the same thing. The
wow.
guy who removed the gun from Alex, he had two ideas to do with it. He was going to plant it, and now down the line, or two, he was going to sell it and put the money in his pocket. Look, the problem is that
Wow.
we talk about the Chicago Police Department being corrupt. It's not corrupt. It is what I call the union of we'll back each other even if we screw up. Same with New York Police Department. So same with the LA Department. But to a certain degree, they have certain controls. The LA Police Department, the Chicago Police Department, New York the Police Department does not go in the open, crack a person's window, and pull them out of the car and throw them to the floor. They don't do that. ICE does that. They do that all the time in the border. But since you're not on the border, you don't know that. Since the people that have reported in the border you think are crazy and anti-Americans and anti-law enforcement, you don't believe them. Well, people, now you've seen them. So
Jimmy,
that's why I
go
say
ahead.
they need to be controlled. Yeah.
Jimmy, to bring it closer to home, I believe there is legislation in Tallahassee that would prevent any state public funding to go to anyone who is not a legal resident of the United States, and thus even making it more difficult for someone who is here illegally to reside in Florida. I wish I had the House bill number, and I can research that. Any thoughts about that?
Stupid law number two. After 9/11, we passed a law that people here in Florida who were here illegally could not have driver's license. That's where the star comes from. For those of you who are wondering where that's why did they do it? Because they made money off of it. If you were non-resident, they charge you something like $300 for driver's license, or even $250 for what they call a state ID. By doing that, it looked great. They're not going to have license. They're not going. Well, three things happened that has significance. Because they didn't have driver's license, they didn't have car insurance. Did they stop driving? No, but they just don't have driver's license. Two, now they have no idea where they live. I would have loved, as a matter of fact, Puerto Rico allowed that to happen, and ICE went to the Department of Motor Vehicles, got that list, and arrested all those people and took them out, just to show you how stupid they are when they don't think things through. And three, the biggest consequence it had was basically now you had people on the road driving without insurance. Did that reduce the population here? No. Why? Because our problem is like drugs. The problem with illegal immigration is like drugs. The reason there's so many drugs here in this country is because people buy them and use them. The reason there are so many illegals here is because they take care of our farms, they take care of our cattle, they take care of our pork, they take care of our chickens, they take care of everything we put in our mouth.
Right.
Hotels and everything else. As a matter of fact, you might joke about it, but after Charlie the hurricane, all the crews that were putting roofs in your houses spoke Spanish.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. So, and nobody had a problem with that. Hey, you're putting a quality work here, blah, blah, blah. Most of the people who do your landscaping, they speak Spanish.
Right.
So people, stop being hypocrites and saying, we don't want you here, but we want your labor here real cheap,
Real
and we
cheap.
want you to take care of our food, of our farms, but we don't want you here. Look, you want to stop this? Stop penalizing the farmers who hire them. Oh no, wait a minute. These people give campaign contributions, so we can't do that. Stop. The people who are basically contracting their services and like that is like it's kind of interesting because the other day now what has happened is a subterranean economy. You want somebody cutting your yard, you have to pay them in cash.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But here's what's so stupid about that legislation. Are you in a car accident, you're taken to the hospital, is that nurse going to be responsible for finding out if you are here legally or not? Or they're going to provide you service and then bill the state of Florida through Medicaid?
I think there was a bill passed to address that specific issue. And I'm not too sure if it reached the governor's desk and if it was signed by the governor. However, I'll do some research into that. While you were speaking, Jimmy, I wanted to make sure that we were very transparent with our audience, and that I did look up the information about the bill. Actually, there's two bills, Jimmy. Florida Senate Bill 1380 and House Bill 1307. And some of the key proposals: it prohibits all commercial driving license, pre-licensing instruction, testing, and licensing procedures from being given in any other language than English, removes undocumented workers as covered employees and the workers' compensation statute, also forces any company that hires undocumented workers to pay out of pocket for any injuries, requires companies to use E-Verify to submit a workers' compensation claim. And this has been an issue with businesses who have hired undocumented workers. Also, prohibits undocumented workers from receiving any license issued by the Department of Financial Services, stops undocumented workers' IDs from being used to create bank accounts with a state chartered financial institution, and for cashier checks. And this goes on and on and on. Undocumented workers cannot benefit from down payment assistance programs and silent second home mortgage programs. And undocumented workers are forced to, undocumented workers' insurance companies are forced to accept fault if they are involved in a car accident in Florida. So that speaks to what you just said.
You know how stupid that sounds? First of all, if you don't have insurance, by law, even if you're a U.S. citizen, you're at fault. Let's start by that. Let's start by the last one. If you're in a car accident and you don't have insurance, you could be a U.S. citizen, you're at fault for not having insurance. That's the whole thing of forcing you to have insurance. Second thing, let's make this even simpler. You say you're not going to issue a license. They haven't been issuing a license in 2001. I'm sorry, they haven't. So I'm not sure why are you putting something that you already have a law that says you can't do. Now, when you say assistant, here is where it becomes interesting. Let me bring the world to the reality that they don't know. And let me take the state senator and wake you up. Maybe you know, but you're just trying to pass this law so you can look tough because you know you're bullshitting us. First of all, the people who are making up numbers and putting those numbers into their payroll system are the employers. It is not the person. They don't benefit from it at all. They cannot file taxes, so they're not going to get them back. They're not going to get Social Security because they're not entitled to it. So what the employers do is create a number, which you could get in the black market for a relatively cheap price, And that's why Social Security can tell you that somebody with the same numbers working in Minnesota and in Massachusetts at the same time and is paying into the system. And Social Security is fine with that because it knows that more than 20% of his income is never going to be claimed. But here it goes even worse. When people tell it says, well, they cannot receive a workman compensation, basically, this is the way they've gone around it for years, not now. Oh, wait a minute. I call Social Security and I have a verification that this was a good number. Of course, it's a good number. It is somebody who's alive. It is somebody who's maybe working in Minnesota, but also working in Florida under the same number, but it's a good number. This is how you get around it. It's Davis Washington Social Security number. Bingo. I have, because it's been e-verified. Now, all of a sudden, you get around it. Look, this is something that is meant to play to the galleries. There's nothing new in this law that is not happening right now. Now, can somebody go and apply for a bank account and not open it without ID? You're right. Ever heard of Shine?
Shine? Oh,
Chime.
Shine, yes.
That's a bank account, correct?
Oh, okay.
It's online. You know how many online bank accounts there are? Sci-fi, big company, online.
Yes, so fine.
And even I'll go a step further. For those of you who do not know this, American Express has an account. Granted, you have to have at least $50,000 to open it.
Shit.
But if you're an immigrant with money, you can. That's where the Russians do their stuff. I'm sorry, but for those of you who do not know this.
So, Jimmy,
yeah,
if I have $50,000, I could get an American Express card, regardless of who I am.
Well, no, but if you have an account with Bank of America, you have a card because you have all this information. You have a card, and all of a sudden you say, well, I would like now to open a bank account with Bank of America. You can. Capital One has bank accounts and has credit cards. Okay, right. These are online things. I'll go a step further. Can you open a foreign corporation in the state of Florida?
No, you cannot.
Yes, you can.
Really?
Yeah. All you have to do is declare that it's a corporation. And let me tell you what a foreign corporation is. A corporation from Illinois is not a Florida corporation. Okay? Each state has their own.
Correct.
So you say, okay, I want to take J.W. Washington, and now I want to open it in Illinois. Can you? Yes. You have to declare that your original corporation is in Florida, so that's fine. Right. Okay. Now, you do that in one state, which, by the way, for those of you who do not know, you do that online.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Do they really ask you for much information? They do. Do they verify it? Bullshit. They don't. We know that, and everybody else knows that. So, yes, you take a corporation, you open it. Okay, that's if you want a business. But I'll go a step further. Ever heard of a track phone?
Yes, I have.
How much information do you have to get to buy one? None.
Oh boy, this has been so long ago. Wasn't it when they first came out? They were like maybe $1,000.
No, they're about $59.95. Did you ever see the movie with Matt Damon where he buys a track phone and he just uses it immediately?
No. Was it a recent movie?
That's about 12 years ago.
Okay. dead president, not dead presidents, but
Drug
dead
phones are
president.
what drug dealers use and everybody else. As a matter of fact,
Okay.
you don't have
Yeah.
to register it or anything. Well,
Right.
let me give you the new world. I cannot have a bank account because my credit is bad. Okay, fine. You go online, take out of your, or you go. As a matter of fact, I'll give you one easier, real easy. Have you ever been to Anscott?
No, I have not. No.
You've seen them all around, right?
Yes. Yes, I am.
You could go in Anscott, put $1,000 in cash, and they'll give you a MasterCard or Visa pre-charge.
So I go to Amscott. Okay. And I give them $100, and they put the $100 into the card. So it's like a debit card, so to speak, but it's a debit card with MasterCard branding.
So now I'm an illegal here. I get paid in cash. I don't want to carry the cash all the time because it's dangerous. I walk into Anscott and or a step further. You cannot get a certified check. What the fuck are you talking about? I go to Anscott and they give me a money order. I don't even have to pay for it for free.
Right.
And I don't dare tell them what it's for or who I am or anything. Hey, here's $1,000. Give me a money order for $1,000.
Yep. You
know how many people bring their rent that way? And here, look, people wonder how can there be so many of these things? It's because basically you go to Anscott, pay your electrical bill in cash.
Yes.
Your water
Right.
bill in cash.
That's
There's
true.
a bunch of
That's
bills
true.
you can pay in cash there, and they charge a fee to the company that they're collecting for, and that's how they make their money. So when people tell me, oh, we're going to be tough on this, you're full of shit. For years, they get paid in cash because their employers pay them in cash and make some money off of it. By the way,
Right.
here's your money, and then they go to Anscott, they pay their electrical bill, they pay their water bill, they pay their phone bill. They get extra minutes to a truck phone, and they get it there. Then they go and get money order to pay their rent. Is this only for illegals? No. Let
No.
me tell you the other group that's there.
Right.
There are certain people who have had criminal records, and because of their criminal records, they cannot open bank accounts. There are people who have filed bankruptcy because they have been screwed over, and the banks won't give them a checking or account or even a credit card because of their bad credit. That's how Anscott makes their money. So when they tell me we're going to do these things, stop lying to the American public. There's been a solution for over 40 years, and it's called Anscott. For those of you who do not know it,
Mm-hmm.
you go there, here's $1,000, and they give you a prepaid card. You go to pay with it, and you have $1,000 on it, and you order something for $400. And let me tell you, I'll go a step further. This is where it's even more frustrating. You could put that card on your T-Mobile account. You could put that card on your Amazon account. And as long as they get paid, they don't give a shit where it came from.
That's true. That's true. They just want the bill paid. Yes.
So when
That's
people tell me,
great.
well, this is going to really push them out. Nah, you're telling the ignorant people of this country that you're doing something. Both bills are bullshit.
All right. Okay. Speaking of legislation, and we touched on this a little bit, if the federal government does not come to a decision or negotiated agreement about the next spending resolution, who doesn't benefit from this politically? We know the American people doesn't benefit from another, government shutdown. But if there is a government shutdown, Who politically loses? The Democrats, Republicans, president?
The president. First of all, because he was the one who made the promise I could fix all this, and he has fixed nothing. Uh, but most important, this is something that I don't think we understand. Most Americans don't care if federal employees are or not working. They really don't give a shit. What they're looking at is that the price of gas is going up, the price of food keeps going up, the price of rent keeps going up, everything keeps going up, and at TV is showing them how ICE is killing white people in Minnesota. If the federal government is not working and all of a sudden ICE is not funded, they might think that's a good thing. So I'm not sure how the American people might react to that. But right now, short of God coming down to the earth and endorsing Donald Trump, the House and the Senate are doomed this year. They're doomed. They're going Democrat. There's no way around that. So would this be a price that the Democrats pay? Look, I'm going to say something that's going to sound extremely difficult for me to come out of my mouth. But right now,
Okay.
this country is so polarized that the MAGA people are going to blame the Democrats, and the Democrats are going to blame the MAGA people. And it's not going to make much of a difference because the independents are the ones who are starting to realize that there's fault to be thrown on both sides, but that Donald Trump and MAGA needs to be stopped. When Fox News is criticizing what's going on in MAGA, when Fox News is starting to say there's a good chance that the House is gone, when the Fox News criticizes Mike Johnson as a Speaker of the House, you know you have lost the battle. When you have a person like who's really true MAGA, Major Taylor Greene saying, people, we're going to lose the House because you are not doing your job. Yeah. So a shutdown because the Republicans want to allow ICE to continue to be out of pace. That one may not be. The Democrats will pay a price, but not as big as the Republicans. Right now, they're in control of everything. And for the record, the American people do not understand filibuster rule. They don't understand why Republicans are backing it. So all they know is that the Republicans are in control of the Senate, but they're going to allow the shutdown because they don't want to screw with a rule that is more of a principle than just numerical numbers. So yeah, the price is not going to be paid by anybody in major because Republicans are going to blame the Democrats and Democrats and the independents. God knows how they're going to look at this.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
If you were president, what would you do with ICE?
That's an easy question for me to answer. The first thing I would do is say, hey, let's reduce the numbers, get out of Minnesota. There is no problem with illegal immigration in Minnesota. And let's split you people equally to get both borders. Second, if I continue to hear that you're abusing U.S. citizens or even non-U.S. citizens as law enforcement, I will have the Department of Justice take you to trial and throw you in jail. You're law enforcement. You are not abuse enforcement. You are law enforcement to take care of this country, not to abuse this country. Third, you're not going to get any bonus for an arrest. What the fuck is this? You're supposed to arrest people if they committed a crime or did something wrong.
Right.
So I'm not going to give you a bonus for arresting people. And if I caught you selling the guns, selling the iPhones, and taking people's money, you're out. Yeah. Sorry, that's not law enforcement. Law enforcement needs to be controlled. And that is the problem that was the Constitution. There's three balances, and basically one is to control the other. We need to. No, first of all, there's something that needs to be understood. We cannot allow this to become a police thing. But first, I would say, yeah, we're going to send you back to the borders That's what you were created for. You don't need to be in Minnesota. You don't need to be in Orlando. You don't need to be in New York. You don't need to be in any other state. You're going to be in the borders. You are border. As a matter of fact, the original name of ICE was Border Patrol. Okay, you're going back to the border. And if you are charged with shooting a person who was unarmed and abused somebody, you're going to be out like any other law enforcement agent. If I find an FBI agent who has abused somebody, you're out too. So it's, you are going to enforce the law the way the law needs to be enforced, and that's it. And for all practical effects, if you don't, that's on me.
Jimmy, you mentioned that we're becoming, as the United States citizens, are becoming more and more polarized politically. Are we on the verge of something even worse? I'm hearing talk in subreddits and other social media, even in podcasts, about a civil war. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, the Civil War would have to be that certain states decide to secede from the Union, which I don't see that happening right now. Are there radical groups out there who might take arms? Yeah. Are law enforcement and the army equipped to take them out quickly? Yeah, I do. So, could it happen? Yes. Would it be in a major scale? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Look, we're divided already, north and south for years. Northeast bagels. We here down the south eat biscuits. But yeah, and for the record, it's not even north south anymore. It's Republicans versus Democrats.
Yes, yes, yes.
So how do I know what political party you are? So I shoot you? That's going to be a good question. It's going to be more interesting. Are you going to go out because you're a Republican, shoot all blacks and Hispanics? Well, that's possible too. You never know. What is interesting is that the party of Lincoln and of Martin Luther King does not want the African Americans in there, but that's a story for another day.
Jimmy, we don't have any new comments in the last maybe week. We did get some decent viewership and listeners to our last podcast. But however, there has been a trend, and I think it's pretty obvious in the comments that we've discussed on air about what we're talking about right now. Liberals and conservatives, Democrats and Republicans, the partisan divide and the tension between the two groups. That's prevalent in those comments. And then also what has been, of course, at the top of the media news hour is the conduct of ICE in Minnesota and so forth and so on. So we appreciate those comments, everyone. Don't hesitate to let us know what you think and keep the conversation civil and tactful. Jimmy, back to Walz and Trump. Walz in his statement was pretty much conciliatory, but at the same time firm. Is that going to be good enough for his followers, for Minnesotans, for those who have been affected by the ICE investigations? Is that going to be good enough? We've got planned actions here in Central Florida in the coming weeks, going into February, going into March. Is this going to tamp down on those activities?
No. Basically, people are going to react the way they're going to react. Walz could tell the people to calm down, and he's been telling them to do that for some time. But then you have other people on the other side agitating their people, and that agitates everybody. Look, it's time for all of us to sit down and say, look, we can disagree, but let's agree to disagree, and let's be responsible about this, and let's be respectful about it. Look, do I agree with everything that comes out of Fox News? No. Do I agree with everything that comes out of CNN? No. Do I agree with everything that comes out of MS? No. Do agree with everything that comes out of News Nation? No. People use your eyes. Basically, it is clear that the gentleman, before that he was thrown to the floor, he had his phone on his one hand and his other hand up in the air, showing there was nothing in it, clearly. And still, he did say something that pissed off the law enforcement officers. Look, there is no such a thing as contempt of a cop, and there's no such thing that there's words that justify killing somebody. I'm sorry, they are not. So, yes, trust your eyes, but stop insulting each other. Stop saying that because what's bad in this country has been blamed on Joe Biden and his administration. Stop saying that everything that's bad in this country is blamed on Donald Trump. Everything that's bad in this country is our fault. Why? We elect these people. I'm sorry.
That's
We
correct.
elect
Yes.
them. We put them in position to say that you're surprised the way Biden acted is no. No Democrat should be surprised about that. And no Republican should be surprised the way that Donald Trump. He said he was going to come back with retribution. That's why he had his people go to Atlanta and remove the ballots, because he's going to come up with some fake thing now saying, see, I told you, we found that there was the ballots favor me and I won Georgia. He's going to do that. And we know that. And this is the problem. We need to stop letting these people put us against each other. We are all Americans, and we need to learn how to get along. No, we don't have to sing Kumbaya. And no, that's not going to happen. If you think that there's something wrong, I'll respect that. But I ask you for the same respect back.
Exactly.
Of my beliefs. And that's where I think the problem is in this country. You're stupid and I'm right. No. We're both right. And nobody's stupid.
And before, I know that you have a Univision appearance coming up very soon. So I just want to encourage our listeners and viewers, if you are watching this on January 29th, I think that's today.
It will be at 6 and at 11.
At 6 and 11, there you go. And you can always go to Univision.
It's not Univision, it's Telemundo, by the way.
I'm sorry, Telemundo. Thank you, Jimmy. Telemundo. Okay. And I'm sure you can also catch it on YouTube. And replay. I'm sure they have their videos there.
If you want to see it the next day, for the record.
Exactly. Thank you, Telemundo, everyone. And Jimmy, this is a good segue into our fuck ups of the week.
Fuck up. Let's start with the Democrats. You have to learn how to sell your message. You have to learn how to control your message. Those of us who are in politics know that messaging is everything. I'll give an example here in Orange County. Right now, our Orange County DEC is being taken over by some radicals that will put us in a danger of people calling us things that we shouldn't be called. But that is a factor. Right now, again, it's not boycott ICE, it's regulate ICE, it's control ICE, it's make ICE accountable for its mistakes. Look, every agency screws up. You are firing people because they were screw ups. And every agency, you said that the people in the IRS were going after churches. Well, I could say that ICE is going against Hispanics just because they're Hispanics. So take care of controlling these things. The other thing that we need to understand is that basically you have to let Donald Trump show you the way. He is fucking up so much that you don't really have to do much but just show his fuck ups. And fuck ups, well, let's start with the way this country is going. Right now, you have in the news this country people being shot and then people lying about it. The director of FBI going on Fox News and being called out as a liar. And they say, well, it's not my investigation, it's Homeland Security. Yeah, but you said that this happened. Two, you have the lady from North Dakota who has Homeland Security. No qualifications for the job. She has no experience in law enforcement, but she's a suck up to Donald Trump, and that's why she's there. Okay? That is something that is hurting them. So you need to use those things and not just ICE. Now, let's go up with the fuck up of the week of the Republican Party. I'm going to divide it in two parts. Look, ICE is a major fuck up, but they're trying to fix that one. So I'll give them credit that they're trying to fix it up. They fired the chief. They sent them back to California. And now they're not saying that this kid was that bad. Even though they tried to show a second video of him after they kicked his ass going and complaining against the people of ICE. But that's okay. Look, you're using the FBI and abusing the FBI and going into Fulton County, Atlanta, to remove the ballots of 2020 to try to come up with that this election was stolen. And even if they were stolen in Georgia, which is controlled by the Republicans, you could have to blame the Republican Party in Georgia of doing that. Good luck with that one. Second fuck up of this week is the one that most of you do not even know. As of the afternoon of today, President Donald J. Trump called the president of Venezuela, Daisy Rodriguez, and said, hey, by the way, good news for you. We're taking off the thing over your airs. You could stop flying back and forth for every place of the world. You could reopen your airport. By the way, I told Marquitos to go and start giving visas for American citizens to go to Venezuela. And the airlines, JetBlue and Avianca, Iberia, American, and all those others, and United, are going to start flying back to Venezuela, back and forth. And we're taking away the advisory that it's dangerous to go there. And by the way, we are recognizing you as the official government of Venezuela. We did all that energy, and now we're leaving the Chavistic government still in power, the same corrupt government, the same people are still controlling it. The only thing we did was arrest Maduro, who had to go. Don't misunderstand me. But you left the rest of it there? I'm not sure. But now, it's not that you left him there. You have just recognized him as the official government of Venezuela. Good luck on that fuck up. With that, before I leave, I want to throw a question to all of you. I made one question about if the woman was an Hispanic woman and the man was a black man, would that be the same? Now, here's the question I have for you right now.
Okay.
Do you feel that the President of the United States is creating distractions with Minnesota, with Venezuela, with Iran, because supposedly the boats are there and everybody's paying attention if they're going to invade Iran, in order for you to stop thinking about the economy, the fact that your gasoline is going up, your food is going up, your rent is going up, and your paychecks are not going up. The Epstein files that most of you even forgot about. Shit, we ain't even thinking about this. Other than the fact that the House is going to hold in contempt Hillary and Bill Clinton, and the fact that basically in this country, no matter how many ICE people are killing and arresting, their numbers are not there. All these illegals that have to go are not being arrested. are not being reported. The numbers are numbers. See, you could lie about other things, but you can not lie about numbers. So, my question to you: do you really feel that you're being played? Yes or no? With that, we could go back to this following: subscribe, comment, like, dislike. I will respond to your comments, and hopefully everything will be back to normal. And for now, from a freezing Florida, which with temperatures that are more common to Chicago for my dear friend David Washington than they are for me from Florida, I say good night. I will see you next week. And please, please respect each other. Do not call the other people who disagree with you stupid. That's a thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Have a good night. Be safe.
You too. Take care.
Thank you.